map pick. This means MIBR get to pick the side they start on. They have chosen to start on the attacking side of Oregon. That's not normally the done thing.
I'm going to repeat something, Des, that you weren't really having this the other day, and you might not now. But MIBR...
Am I going to do it in Eddie Hearn again? I'm not having this, I'm not having this.
No. MIBR came through qualifiers.
No, I'm not having this, I'm not having this, I'm not having this.
They came through qualifiers 2 weeks ago here in Sweden. They had to just stay on and start playing in the tournament. And they're in a position, Des, where they are taking down big team after big team. How far do they have to go before we start talking about them as potential champions?
Bearing in mind the lower bracket is a long run still. You know, you've still got to come up against the winner in the upper bracket, which is...
I knew you'd find a reason.
No, I would find a reason. So the thing is, like, I said it, we had like an interview thing earlier on today, and I said for MIBR, for the longest time they have been undervalued, I think. Many have been talking about TSM, you know, Empire are on a run, Sonics are looking fantastic, Liquid are the ones that are going to win it all. No one's really had this conversation about MIBR, and truth be told, I did do away with the argument of they beat NIP, they beat SSG. SSG have got 2 new team members. NIP have not looked themselves as competition. It's all well and good for the storyline that they beat those teams, but we haven't seen teams at their best yet against them. And I don't want to underplay their achievements. They're about to win. They're about to be in the final few teams left. They are a good team, but Liquid did not show up to play on that last map. Ness was like 3-6 when I checked his KD at one point. When does Ness ever drop a horrible 0.5 KD like that? Almost never. It needs to change on this map, otherwise, yes, MIBR, I don't know what it is, but it's like when you come up against them, you lose your strength, whatever. They do look lights out good like a good team, but others really need to step up and give them a good challenge, because so far they're not getting that.
Now then, Liquid, this is your time. This is the one opportunity you are going to get to step up and keep yourself in the 6th Invitational. Those are the stakes right now. This could be another year, Des, that Team Liquid get here, that they look good, and that they just don't make it over the line. If they lose here on Oregon, that is it. They go home.
Bye-bye.
Simple as that. MIBR, they've got a little bit of breathing room now. They've got the good grace of a map, and should they lose, we will go to our decider, which is going to be a bloodbath, let me tell you, if we get there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But we are not there yet. We're heading to round 1. We're going to have MIBR on the attack. Liquid start things off by defending the bottom floor. And we've got Nescan Resets, just interestingly, in a little duo there out in Freezer. They've dropped back now. I don't know what the initial plan was. They were maybe waiting for the push to come in, but it has come in from that side. So they've obviously decided not to stick around and challenge that.
You see it all the time. It's the LATAM special, right? You have 2 players challenge at the bottom of Freezer. If one goes down, the other is there to get the refrag, rather than one player risking his life solo, just trying to keep players at bay. But a large part of it is getting rid of drones, for example, that come flooding in, of which MIBR haven't really directed any there just yet. You got Luke, who was initially pushing his way down through Freezer. He's still going to hang out in this area whilst he gets droned in, likely by Falls. And you've got 2 or 3 members also pushing up towards the north side. Falls himself is inside of main lobby and looking to open that hatch. So we are getting that 3-sided push that we're very used to seeing coming out. That one stopped... okay, no. It's fine, I'll get it.
For a second, I did
weirdly placed,
we couldn't see the Banshee there, and I was like, why has he just anchored it there?
Then you hear the electrical fry, and you're like, got it.
It was there to take the Banshee. Yes. So that's going to give Reduc the ability to continue moving.
Oh no, the drop!
It's a hot drop. In they go, and it's yet more aggression from MIBR, but look who just stood up. Team Liquid having absolutely none of it. Taking 3 kills down, losing 1, but that really isn't the end of the world. It's all coming from Freezer now. It's Lucid, it's Raps, and they know that they've got an opportunity here. As they 2v3, everything calms down. This is just the dust settling right now, and everybody finding out exactly where they're standing. We can see operators on both sides of the table. We're on drones, we're on cams, just trying to find any information that they could as to how the chips lie after that. What can only be described as a barrage coming in from MIBR.
He might just go for a swing here as well. If he's unlucky on timing, he gets swung at the same time he goes for this fight and does get traded out here. Oh, the unfortunate timing sees the kill and doesn't get traded back. Raps in and out like an assassin, finds PSK and brings it to a 2 versus 2. And the thing is, Tim, they didn't leave that hot drop super late. They went in for it at about the 1:30 mark. They've had about 1 minute and 20 still to play with here, and they've still got more time yet to get back on drones, to use the frag grenades in Iana's back pocket. There is every chance they win this, but let's not ignore the C4 that's in Palu's back pocket.
Palu could be a real nightmare here in his position. His in-bunker is going to be very difficult to clear out. There comes the challenge. There was no other option. Palu, as I suggested, moves himself back in to supply there, gets the kill through into Freezer, and Lukid's no option but to push this forward. There's one to either side of him. He's in a crossfire. There's no way that I see him winning this. There's one in front, one behind. He's chasing them round and round in circles. Can he get one? No. Palu shuts him down, and that's going to be Team Liquid taking the round, but they had to cling on for it, Des. I didn't expect it to be that close after the results of the hot drop.
Oh, no, I mean, they killed 3. It was down to a 5 versus 2 straight away, but MIBR not quite giving up, keep on battling through and almost get it over the finish line, if not for the stone wall that is Palu. No one gets past. And I passed him in the corridor on the break. I ran across to the restroom and I said to him, oh, come on, you got this, Oregon's yours, you know. I believe you can do it. And he gave a very muted response. He was a bit like, yeah, like a small chuckle, but it was barely even a laugh.
He's a quiet guy.
He's a quiet guy himself, but I just thought it didn't feel like he was particularly enthused or ready for it. And maybe it's because he was taking the time to take a break between games, who knows? But I did really think, okay, we've got to see them come out here fighting. And so far, round 1, there is some there. They're not over-celebrating yet. They know that it is a long road back, but at least 1 round is on the board, and that will get them started and warmed up.
Going to be heading up to top floor then for round number 2. Going to be Dorms and Liquid. They've got to be able to find some confidence out of that round. They reacted well to the hot drop. They did let MIBR back into it a little bit, but you can't always control that. There's a lot of chaos going on. Kills are going to rain in, and sometimes you've just got to try and get the round over the line, and that's exactly what Liquid were able to do. This time, they're going to try and look, I'm sure, for a little bit more control here, just to build on that foundation that they've just set up. I don't think we're going to see the same sort of aggression coming out of MIBR here. It's something that worked for them on Bank, and so, yep, they thought, right, let's have a go at it. But I think they might start to just slow down a little bit. Now that Liquid have woken up and shown that they're going to react well to it, MIBR know they can't be playing 2v4 all the time. They need to be getting themselves an advantage, so I can't see a rush. There's always the potential for the double window, just try and get yourself in, but I say that, and Raps is already on his way upstairs on the knock.
No one's on the shield as well. I mean, if you can get past the gadget, then fine, but they might just find him out here, going to have to shoot it off the wall. That's why those Melusi Banshees can be so powerful. Raps got to back away at least momentarily. What I find really interesting about this setup, Tim, is the shield inside of Trophy. Normally it's positioned in the middle of the room, so you can challenge into the bedroom, but here instead it's kind of off towards the side, like you see into Palu's left here. You haven't got the direct angle through to the bedroom door. You kind of have to swing out in a very risky way. So I'm not quite sure what it is they're aiming to protect unless a member of MIBR gets really deep inside, which by the looks of it, they're about to do, Tim. They're opening up the bedroom wall. They clearly know exactly how MIBR are going to attack this site and have got themselves ready with a pretty cleverly placed shield, even though at first glance it looks a little bit off.
Paulu's still trying his best to play inside a trophy, but as he hears that, that's going to be the game done. He's going to dip away, and like you say, there's just pressure starting to build for Liquid here, as it feels like they're being pushed around. You've got the rotation already opened up inside of Master. You've got Reduct looking to move in. Ask could prove to be a problem, but Philippox has none of it, shuts him down. That's going to be our opener for the round. 5 versus 4, and MIBR again looking pretty good.
That's the kind of flank watch you want in your games. The one who's going to cover you from below whilst you focus entirely on the site. They are drawing out these smoke canisters as well. The first one coming through from Nesk. They can burn through a couple of more inside the first, 90 seconds or so? Beautiful. You've got loads to play with when it comes round to the execute. You've only got to dodge away from the 1C4. It's looking good for MIBR. They are slowly chewing through those resources. They've removed the shields, for example, that were blocking them. One inside Games, one inside Trophy. Now it's about removing a player or two so you can start stepping your way in. Nesk down to about half HP as another smoke canister comes out.
Raps just trying to get moving here. It was an interesting early push. Look at Foles, he's straight through. He's potentially looking to get himself into sight. We've got Philippox underneath, but he's going to come to blows with resets in a minute. I don't think they're aware of resets here. Oh, what a beauty! Nice little one-tap headshot on the pistol. Resets onto Lukid. Palu manages to give Team Liquid an advantage with a kill onto Raps. Reduct challenging down through the attic hatch. And once again, we find ourselves 3 versus 3. MIBR and Team Liquid really fighting tooth and nail for every single round here. It's close every time. Palu finds Philippox, 30 seconds left.
There'll be a swing behind him here as well with a shotgun from Nesk, who hasn't moved, but Palu is on one. He don't want to see him going out too quick in map 2. A 3K in the round. Liquid, 2 in a row.
I'm not sure where this Liquid was in the last map, but they are starting to wake up, and that's dangerous for MIBR. If a player like Palu starts taking the sort of game by the scruff of the neck and saying, like, I'm not going anywhere, then he can be a very dangerous thing, picking up kills at the ends of both rounds there. And starting this for me is the real strength of Palu. Palu is his absolute best towards the end of rounds. He gets so many important round-ending kills, and if he starts finding those here, MIBR, they're going to struggle to close these out.
I love in a tournament where we've seen a lot of DMR play on Aruni, sorry, playing with the MK14. It's interesting to see someone going back and playing so heavily on the Roni and doing such work with it as well. 3 critical headshots flying through. And again, it's only 2 in a row, still a little bit muted on the side of Liquid. Again, they know that it's a lot of work to do. If we get through to Coastline, that's when the celebrations can begin.
Right then, third choice site it will be for Team Liquid. If they've got round 1 and round 2 in the bag, they're going to be going to meeting, and there is a few grenades on the side of MIBR, Des.
Just a few, and on the other side, Tim, can you see a Jaeger?
There is no Jaeger, Des.
Can you see a Wamai, Tim?
There is no Wamai.
And can you see an Aruni, Tim?
Not a single one.
Damn, that sounds like a lot of shields are going to blow up, Tim.
It sounds like a lot of everything is going to blow up, to be honest. Not just your shields, it's going to be nade central. They're going to be raining in there, and there's going to be very little that Team Liquid can do. So I would expect to see, if MIBR can keep their operators alive here, I would expect to see Team Liquid being pushed around as being moved, because as a nade comes in, a defender has to move away from it. Not only can they be used to get kills, they can be used to create space. And MIBR, boy, have they got a lot of space to create on that side.
They do indeed. It's no doubt going to be a top floor clear as well. On attacking this site, you'll often want to get yourself up inside Trophy, up inside Master, up inside Kids, force all the players to drop downstairs, and that's when you start looking for your execute inside of Kitchen. The alternative that's become less popular lately is actually just opening up the stage wall and planting just inside that, because you always get challenged from the hatch, which means you need to go and clear out the attic, which means you've got to clear out bedroom. It's just far easier to get a full top floor clear in. So that's the expectation from MIBR, but we'll see if they change things up a little bit here and try a different angle.
Philippox just peeking out of the garage, looking if he can pick anybody up inside a site. Not going to have any joy. Redux is inside a site, Des. MIBR once again going super aggressive, and Liquid absolutely no idea. Ask, shot in the back, and that's going to be our opener. MIBR have an advantage, and an even bigger one now. 5 versus 2 as Philippox and Redux find more, and Team Liquid are crumbling here. It could be a flawless round. It could be over in a matter of seconds. Redux wraps. Those 2 names just keep rolling off the tongue as the nade rolls into the top floor, takes down the last man, and MIBR get themselves their first round on Oregon.
It's mad how he just marches down green there, and the only man inside of sight was the smoke, because they were committing so heavily to the roam. Just got in under the noses of the defenders and got a critical kill. Once he was out, it was just an all-around panic on the other side. They couldn't drop back to site because they'd lost control of the site, didn't have control of the hatch, and everything worked against them from there. Philippox narrowly winning that gunfight against Nesk. Admittedly, it was a close one, but all too easy for MIBR. The thing is, Tim, they've won the off-site there. That's the site that you normally expect the attackers to win. So if it's going to go a 4-2 half, okay. It's not the end of the world for the side of MIBR. If they go on now to win the basement in round 4, there's a very different conversation we start having. And they're changing up their tactic. They've got the Kappa Tau on side. The Flores makes a return once again. And this time, for Liquid, as it was all the way back in round number 1, there is no mute jammer on side. So those Flores, the Terror drones are just going to roll through side for free.
Well, I mean, we know for sure that it's going to be a gentler round from MIBR than the last time they attacked onto this side.
Yeah.
No way are they going to go for the hot drop and just try and get it explosively straight into site. It was shut down last time. This time we're going to see a proper MIBR attack here, where they go in, they try to clear utility, they try to give themselves the space that they need. That's going to be the focus.
What's really spicy about this comp, Tim? What do you normally need to open hatches?
Well, you need a number of things. You need a hard breacher.
What don't they have, Tim?
Well, they've got 2 hard breach
They
hatches.
do, but have they got a hard breach operator?
They do not.
Aha, so normally you would see a Habana coming along here, but instead they've gambled everything on Falls doing the work for them with those hard breach gadgets in back pocket. The downside to that slightly here, Tim, is they can only get 2 of the 3 hatches you're looking for. You've got the lobby hatch, you've got security hatch, you've got the meeting hatch. They have to pick 2, and they have to pick well. I wouldn't be surprised if they ignored the freezer one, because that's more to force defenders out of freezer. You very rarely actually drop through that hatch, so it's the one you can kind of do without as long as you aren't intending to push through freezer. Now, if Falls gets picked off early in the round as an entry death, then it's absolute calamity. They're going to have to force their way downstairs, push their way through blue. It's not going to be pretty. So as long as he gets those hard breach gadgets off first, then he can die. It's not really an issue. You'd rather keep him because he's got smokes and the fire bolts in the back pocket, which are very impactful for the execute. So keep an eye on that one and see what they open up. I do expect it will be the meeting, though, and the lobby. or not. It's going to be Frieza. Okay, so which one are they going to pick, Tim? It's probably going to be the meeting one.
I feel like you cursed yourself there, Des.
I did a little bit.
It will absolutely be meeting.
You have to get this over.
Yeah, there's a lot less to be gained from getting the laundry hatch open. At the end of the day, they can put somebody down at the bottom of stairs and apply the same sort of pressure, so it's not really the end of the world for them. So that's those open. They're going to be looking to move in through bunker. Reduct likely to see that first Rotero drone taken out by resets, although there's not a lot of gadgetry to try and keep resets in place on elbow there, so I would expect to see him moved quite early. As soon as the pressure starts mounting, he's likely going to dip back through that wall and look to throw that final reinforcement up that they've got in place. Oh no, he does have a shield. It wasn't quite visible from the top-down view. So Reduct doing everything he can to try and move people. I don't know.
Oh, PSK!
Not play from PSK. I'm just going to pick that up. I'm going to put that back down. There you go. I've still got my ADS to play behind.
Casual as all hell, and he's dodging himself around firebolts as Reduct and Lukid push inside of Tarp here. Now, PSK is playing in Harry Potter. If they don't know, oh, they do know because the droppers come through. It's Philippos getting one back the other side. Makes it two as well. This is a big shutdown. They've got control of blue. They've got control of the north, and they now need to get rid of Ask. Falls is holding the angle. MIBR, like clockwork in this round, have destroyed Liquid. Palu finding one back. Surely, Tim, we're not going to see another clutch out.
So casual, that headshot from Palu there. It's just technically an absolute wizard. Going to play him behind that shield, and he's going to be very difficult to move. I don't know if he knows that the diffuser's on the ground or not. Possibly not, but still, he's going to hold on to bunker and try to prevent too much access being gained. Raps, he's going to rotate around. I think he catches him in the back here. There comes the drop. He's got to win the fight and does. That leaves Palu all alone in a 1v3.
Oh,
he's surrounded at this point. He's got the Vector. Can he win? No! Philippos shuts him down, and it's another round for MIBR. They level things up 2-2, and if you're a Team Liquid fan, you've got to be worried.
The thing is, Tim, I said just before that round began, if they can win the basement here, carry on into the offsite and win that attacking round, that'll be 3.5. Knowing what we saw of Team Liquid back on bank, taking a long time to clear the whole map, being very slow on the execute, leaving it until the dying seconds, do we have a lot of confidence that Liquid can find more than 2 rounds on the attack? Probably not, being completely honest with you. So this was a round, in my books, that they really needed to come away as the winner. They haven't found it now. Sure, Palu found himself 2 kills. He's doing all that he can, bless his heart and soul. He's sat at 7-2 so far in the map, Tim, but it's not getting them enough rounds at this point. Yes, it sits in 2-2, but you'd hope Liquid would be ahead, given it's their map pick and they're on the defense.
And MIBR does. They just, as a team, look so much more in the zone than Team Liquid right now. You can see every time they win a round, we can hear them from where we stood. There's cheers, this celebration. They are right up there at the minute, and that's going to transfer into game because they're going to be playing with confidence. Heading back to the downstairs, Team Liquid, it's going to be a tough one, Des. They've got to do something differently. For me, I think maybe a little bit of pressure out in the map. MIBR were pretty much able to go in at will, open up the hatches, get the angles that they wanted. Liquid were just hoping to beat them in the gunfights in the basement, and it didn't work for them. I think maybe get somebody out there. We can see Nesk at the minute in dining, and just get a few challenges won in the early round.
I won't lie to him, I don't know what happened to Resets there inside of elbow, because he was sat in that spot for the longest time, but when 2 members came pushing in, they'd firebolted out Shyko spots, so they couldn't be challenged from the doorway, then forced their way in against the E-box wall hard, so they were pretty well set in there. That's when the flank came in from Resets, and they easily get the shutdown with falls on the door. I'm not sure what forced him back, whether it was a smoke bolt coming out from Capital, whether it was a frag grenade being tossed down there, really not sure. But when I saw that, I was like, man, that was really the chance for them to strike big. So very well played by MIBR to force Resets back with enough pressure. This time round, they don't lose the Flores Rotero. It gets rid of the Banshee nice and early.
Lukid sends the drone down into Freezer, and the intel gathering continues for MIBR at the beginning of the round there. Immediate aggression has certainly died down. I think they know that Liquid have got their number now on that, so instead they are being a little bit more cautious and getting themselves established inside of the map. But we are now a minute in. They have got that complete. Liquid all back on site, and as I said, Des, this is the concern for me. They did this last time around. They gave up a lot of map control to MIBR, and they were able to use it well. Liquid, again, are just going to have to hold on to those spots inside the site, and look how close they're all playing together. It's going to be a tough one for them.
Bit of a move around. You got the smoke playing inside of Elbow this time, and Resets has moved over towards Freezer. So minor adjustments from Liquid in terms of who is playing where. MIBR have changed nothing. Again, no hard breacher, leaning in towards the Capital with those 2 hard breach gadgets to do the work for them. And this is what many were optimistic we might see when this change is made to the game, is that you might see Buck coming back into the meta a lot, for example, and he serves as your second hard breacher on maps where you normally need 2. Here, it's completely solo, and with this wall now being blown out, they've got themselves an angle off through, thanks to the Flores. If they can find this mirror who's sat inside a cupboard, you completely break out the defense on the south side, as all the other members of Liquid are north-facing right now.
Philippox is about ready to start pushing down that rear side on the stage stairs. Needs to challenge into Pillar. MIBR, 57 seconds left to go. Need to find themselves an opening kill here, really. Now, Falls has managed to get his way down to the bottom of Laundry Stairs here, and Redux is going to join him. I'm not sure whether Liquid are ready for pressure from all sides. There's 2 inside of Freezer as well. There's 1 on rear stage stairs. This is going to be every single angle that they get challenged from. And here go MIBR, but Liquid stand up well, managed to get the first kill. And the second, it's Palu, it's Nesk, it's 5 versus 3. 30 seconds left to go, and MIBR continue the push. Managed to find one of their own, but it just feels like they're caught in a kill box at the minute, and Liquid are able to just hold these crossfires now. 4v2, and Falls is trying to get anything going that he can. He peeks left, he peeks right, he doesn't find his man. Lukid's working from Freezer, finds one. There's the leveler, it's 2v2, surely not. Ask on the short angle, gets both. Unreal from Ask, as he manages to lock down the site on low health, and that's going to be Team Liquid getting themselves another 3-2, but MIBR still going well on Liquid's map choice.
That could have been a really smart bait, because Ask and Resets, I commented, to swap sides. They swapped back once they realised the push was coming from the south side. So all it took was for Ask to step inside a Freezer, chuck a couple of smokes in, hold 2 players from MIBR at bay whilst they dealt with those pushing in from the south. And sure, they lost a couple in that effort, but they still came away the winner because MIBR couldn't put together this structured, 2 on one side, 3 on the other push. Again, good play coming in from Liquid, slowing MIBR down a bit. They take 3 now. If they can get the 4th on the top floor, then great. A 4-2 half is probably what they were aiming for. Then it comes on to MIBR's pressure to try and turn things around.
Final defensive round for Team Liquid. Top floor, and they are setting up immediately, I would say, very similar to how they did last time. We've got the Banshees from Ask on the Malusi, which really did prevent the push from the Knot coming in. The exact Banshee that he's more than likely going to place on that reinforcement once it's up, I would expect it. So there you go. It sort of saved them last time around because the Knot tried to get aggressive and move up there, but it just gave the signal to Palu that they were trying to push in through Trophy, who was able to then hold on. We don't have the Goyo shield inside of Trophy just yet. We did see that last time around, but I think it'll be there. I think that they'll want to hold on aggressively from that side. There you go. PSK is just going to place it down now. So pretty much the same as last time.
Yeah, no big changes here, I guess. On Liquid side, they're looking at this and saying, well, last time round we came out on top, so why fix what ain't broken? Really, it's MIBR's owners here to be the ones that adapt, that bring something a little bit different. On their side, they've stepped away from the Nook. This time, for Philippox, is going across onto the Finker. I had a really good chat with Lycan, the coach of SSG, about this. The current meta, what we're in, what's the real strength, where are we looking in terms of gun balance? And the conversation we had was around the strength that currently the Finker brings, especially on LAN. Your entries are going in, you've got your Finker, your Iana and your Finker both stepping in, and they're being juiced up with a bit more padding so they can take a few body shots. They step in and go down to about 50 HP after the first gunfight, you juice them back up again. You've negated much of what was happening to really damage them in the first place. And he thought, well, if we took away the permanent healing from Finker and made it temporary, that would be a little bit more balanced, because right now it is very obnoxious, especially trying to compete with the ARX of the Iana.
All 3 Roteros so far have found their mark. None have been shut down. That's the only one that Liquid have been able to take out. So that's a lot of utility lost, a lot of angles opened up. As we saw one just breaching a little bit of soft wall as well, I think. And Liquid now just scrambling to try and adjust and try and play without that utility in front of them. Ask on the underneath, but there is a couple of MIBR players down there as well, just drawn in to make sure that they're aware of anybody. We've got the impact nades on the side of the Malusi, so there's not going to be a nitro denial fail from underneath, but still a possibility to play from down there.
I find it really interesting how MIBR have stacked up so heavily towards Armory. You know, most teams will probably send 1 or 2 here to come and push it solo, offer something like an Iana, and then coming through Attic or coming through Big Window, or even White Stairs, but no one is doing that. And it's making it so comfortable for Liquid to just shut them down when they try and go in for these peaks through what is essentially a very narrow bottleneck. The trophy door is very thin. You've also got Nest looking to swing you out from pit. It's just horrible to try and get through the bottleneck. Lukid has done as maybe I thought someone might and moved over towards that Big Window to give them a second angle of offense.
He's looking for the angle. I think he knows that there's somebody playing in behind the bunks there. He's just hoping for the peak. There it is. Tells him that the man is there. Ask is going to find Raps, and that is a big kill for Team Liquid. They've broken this MIBR attack, but what a shot from Lukid. Resets just over, peaking a little bit there maybe. Didn't need to be so aggressive on the double window and loses his head for it. Allows MIBR back into things, and it's 3 versus 4. Final Banshee taken out, and Liquid though. Palu stepping up nicely. Experience showing there. Holds a tight angle and gets himself a good kill exactly when they need it. Nesk onto Philippox, and that is it. PSK finishes it off, and Liquid manage to close out Dorms, which at a point MIBR felt like they might be able to compete inside of, but towards the end it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, they had a nice idea, rotating 1 towards White Stairs, 1 towards Big Window, give them more points of entry, which is the kind of thing you'll often see for LATAM teams when they attack into the basement. But unfortunately, the 3 that were left trying to attack through Trophy came up against the Titans that are Nesk and Palu and were very quickly shut down. Diffuser was down out towards the east side. The 4 remaining players from Liquid stood between the remaining 2 members of MIBR and the Diffuser. There's no way to get the recovery, so had to try and brute force their way through that they simply couldn't do. Here we go then. We get to switch sides now, Tim, and I'm really curious to see how things shape up from here, because if MIBR put out a solid defensive side, it'll be over for Liquid. However, given that half, 4 and 2, I imagine they're feeling pretty confident going into the attack on their map.
I love that angle from Palu, just getting aggressive on the Master Door inside a trophy there. Absolute beauty. Team Liquid then, as you say, 4-2, and maybe just finding a little bit of confidence in that, Des. And hopefully, because we want a game out of this. We don't want to see a team like Liquid limping out of the tournament in a 2-0 loss. And that is what they face if MIBR manage to get the win here on Oregon. MIBR have gone on to the defense now. Their first site choice will be downstairs in the basement. It's going to be laundry and supply. No massive surprises there. Team Liquid, I'm interested to see if MIBR maybe play a little bit more aggressively out into the map. We saw Team Liquid trying to play this as like pretty much a complete turtle defense. I'd like to see that contrast.
I think you're not really going to get the chance to, Tim, because this whole lineup to me just screams sit inside a site. The Mutant Mozzie to deny away the information game. You can have those 2 roaming, to be fair. We see it on maps like Clubhouse, Philippox just dropping inside a kitchen, for example. Redux also there. So they could try and hold around kitchen and security, which is often the kind of staple of this map. It's the true center. It enables you to challenge into green corridor. You can step across into meeting. You can go dining. You can go down towards freezer stairs. It gives you control and access to many, many different areas of the map. So with those 2 roaming around, it would make a bit of sense, but I expect you'll see them drop back down to site within 60 to 90 seconds or so.
I was wondering if Palu was going to head in towards rear stage there. He's not. He looks like he's moving down more towards bunker, and that leaves the Mozzie of Philippox safe for the time being. A clearance is coming across from the west, and as I suggested, a few operators up on this mid floor, and it's sort of what I wanted to see from MIBR here. It's a different approach to the one taken by Team Liquid, and we'll see if they have any joy with it. Nade comes in, ADS keeps Lukid safe. He's then able to dip himself away. Knows that the pressure is coming, but that is all information. And we can see the smoke there, just, I think it's actually Reduct maybe. I'm not sure if it's Reduct or False, just inside of security. It's Reduct, thank you very much, on the mute. And he's going to look to peek around here and just try and keep resets at bay potentially, but there is pressure mounting on him from the kitchen side as well.
Thing is, Tim, half the round's gone. Like, they've wasted a good amount of time, as we saw them doing back on bank against Team Liquid, and they're pausing a bit too much here for me. You know, they've got themselves in a position where they've managed to push upstairs. They've got the Maverick up there earlier on. Nesk is sat here just holding an angle, knowing that there's someone inside of security. Will finally get droned out. He'll take out a drone and then drop away. So again, great play coming out from MIBR. About that halfway mark in the round. They've got a couple of drones. They've dropped away. They've drawn out some utility. That's a good roam.
It is indeed. they've, like you said, done their job. They've ticked their boxes, and they're going to drop back down. And Liquid, they've got to start finding something moving. A couple of shots missed onto the cam there from Nestle. A little unusual, but we'll let him off as he's just peeking around the corner.
Come on, Tim, you can't be perfect all the time.
I don't know, he has been for years. Lukid, he's still in shy. The thing that I'm concerned about for Team Liquid here is nobody in sight has been disrupted. MIBR are basically playing where they want to play. They've been forced away from the roam, yes, but they've wasted a lot of time in doing so. And Liquid are now stacking up in bunker, and they've got an awful lot of work to do. There's 4 nades in hand that they can use to clear out utility and operators and create some space here, but it's not going to be easy in 30 seconds.
Oh, and they've chucked another one, I think, straight into the ADS there. Okay, resets his in as nades have come down. Parlo's going to steamroll his way in and try and stop them getting the reinforce off, but Fall's already had the presence of mind to back away here. This feels a lot like MIBR's attack, if you remember, Tim, when they swamped the north side of the map. The thing is, they found a couple of kills in the process, and they don't have that here. It's still a 5 versus 5 with 10 seconds to go.
Surely this is too little too late now. As you say, not a single kill in this round. The first one coming to Raps, 2 then rack up for Liquid. They have the diffuser, but it's going to be dropped as Ass goes down. The time is ticking away, and MIBR win based on time. Team Liquid just left it too late, and if you remember at the beginning of the round, Des, I said, will we see MIBR play players out in the map? Something that Liquid didn't do, and what will be the difference? And we've just seen the difference. They burnt up a lot of time there, and Team Liquid were unable to then get the job done in the time left to them. Well played from MIBR, and they bring themselves back to 3-4.
Liquid just getting really stuck on that security freezer hold that came out from the 2 players hanging around. It's a lot of work being done by the Mute and the Mozzie. It reminded me of what we saw from teams like, I think of BDS, I think of Furia when I say this. Those that are just so rapid into the building. I get the same vibe from MIBR on their attacking side as well when you compare it to what we've seen from Liquid in that round just then. They have no issue droning things out in the prep phase and full sprinting through the map and taking control of ground that they know is safe. Liquid don't have that same... I think it's a lack of urgency is the best way to describe it, Tim. The urgency comes in the last 5 seconds of a round when it's already too late. A 5 versus 5 with 10 seconds to go, it's done.
It is done. As you say, it was just too little too late from Team Liquid, and honestly, that's been a little bit of a feeling that I've had about them throughout this, Des. Not always enough urgency, not always enough sort of aggression and just pushing forward, going to take gunfights, going to take kills, and it just looks like a little bit of a lack of confidence in these fights against MIBR, who by contrast are quite happy to just swing anything. They, at the minute, will just go for absolutely everything. They're going charging into sight, and they are winning on the basis of it. They're going to go up to top floor, and this could level things out at 4-all, Des, with MIBR on the defence.
Small, very cute change here inside a trophy, where the shield has been placed now actually facing onto the master window. So recall Liquid's defences, it was placed against the bookcase instead and challenged on towards the double reinforced wall inside a bedroom itself. So it's only a very slight adjustment, but it's the 2 teams kind of defending against each other in different ways or being aware of how they like to do things differently. For the side of MIBR, it's getting the exothermic down onto that armory wall to give them the view into bedroom. That's why the shield was where it was in the previous setup. And for MIBR, they know Liquid aren't likely to do that, so they can put the shield in a more aggressive spot and challenge onto the bedroom door. Very small change, but means that whole area of the map plays out very differently.
Droning out Attic there. Liquid this time making quicker progress. Straight into Attic. Maverick of resets, opening the wall up. They're in a...
What's... Parla? Why would you go back down? Oh no! I don't know why you dropped back down through the spot you've just been shot through, but they saw him going up the ladder there. Fortunately, will get himself back on his feet, but that is the last time he's going to climb those ladders, I tell you that much. Resets, almost losing his life, and Raps looking deadly inside a pit at the minute.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words, Des. I don't know what's going on. You know, this is not the Team Liquid that we're used to seeing, just giving away just cheap angles like that, and Parlu nearly losing his life over it. It's once that hole has been opened up, they can see the ladder. It's as simple as that. And he just sprays through it and gets himself something out of it. Now Parlu on 20 health has to be careful about any gunfight that he goes into, because it's going to be one bullet. And honestly, at this rate, I can see MIBR holding on to that third site. I can see them finding the difference and having a better defence.
They don't look rattled so far, at least. Still sat in position. You've got Luki playing downstairs in green, by the way, so holding in a pretty critical position where he could come flanking up Big Tower. And if there's no flank drone being watched by Team Liquid at the time he makes the move, man, it's going to be painful for the side of Team Liquid. We're down to that last 60 seconds, Tim. We're still in the 5 versus 5. That's okay at this point. But let's not forget, last round, it came down to the last 10 seconds, and only then did they manage to make things start working for them. A default nade comes on one spot and onto the second and gets the down. They should be able to finish him off here. There we go. The smoke is gone. That is a critical first kill.
Good start for Team Liquid. 45 seconds left to go, and they need to make sure that the clock doesn't get the better of them. This time, Nesk, he's aware that there's somebody playing underneath with him, but he's just conscious of them coming out of dining, but he knows that they're going to be inside of security, surely. He's going to start heading up the stairs, and without that mid-floor being dealt with, Des, that could be a little bit of a problem. Felipox on the Goyo could cause an issue, and this is where the challenge is potentially going to come in, but Raps manages to get Palu. 4 versus 4, full flash for Nesk, and again, it just speaks of maybe a little bit of a lack of coordination. Team Liquid go in 3 versus 3. It's going to be a bloodbath in the last 14 seconds. Liquid on top of things at the minute, but can they get the diffuser down? Ask is going for the plant. I don't think that MIBR are aware of exactly where or in a position to stop this, but Ask has to stick it. PSK finds 1v3 for Lukid. Can he find anything? He needs kills. That's all that we'll do here. Damage done. PSK kill found, and that's going to be Team Liquid 5-3 now.
And they get the plant off as well, Tim. Okay, it looked a little bit strange at points there, but those nades to remove falls, the difference maker. The shotgun is gone to challenge onto big window. Ask can come in and get a second kill onto the man set up on the north side. Just showing the value of that downstairs control with that nade coming in from below. I believe it was Nesk in dining, chucking it into kitchen. Just means they can push things forward pretty comfortably from there, despite the almost catastrophic start they had to the round.
Well, I think we will probably see a repeat of Dorms. Liquid desperately needed that, Des, because if you remember partway through the round, I said if MIBR can take the third site here, there's a world where they can actually just get this win on defence. So having locked down their primary site, it was essential that Liquid were able to take the secondary site away from them, because very
far,
quiet.
He's sat on 3 kills. I remember again looking back on map 1 and seeing him sat on 3 and 6. It's not much of a better... In fact, it's exactly the same, 3 and 6 again, as what we've described time and time again as one of the best players in the world. Palu has been pretty much awake throughout the series, but his brother-in-arms in Nesk, sadly not. That will have to change if we get to Coastline.
And the thing is, if both of those are firing, that can be your difference maker.
Yeah.
You know, that can single-handedly win you around at that point. Just the fact that both of those are trading off each other and managing to find kills. But like you say, Nesk, very, very quiet so far. Going to be bringing the Iana along this time around, so we'd expect a bit of aggression, get in there, get an entry kill, open things up, but certainly muted up to this point. Round number 9 then, it's going to be Dorms again for MIBR. They weren't a million miles away, you don't feel, last time around. There was a 3v3 at a point where it sort of looked like they might be able to hold on. The players underneath were never really able to have an impact on the round, and that's what hurt them ultimately, because once they lost sight and players had to rotate back up, it was easy then for Liquid to cut them off.
Absolutely. Just turn around for a second there. I was like, oh, we can also see the game feed on the big screen behind us.
We can.
I was like, oh, can't wait when we have a crowd in front of that screen once again, Tim. That'll be the magic moment. For now, of course, we're all staying safe and making sure things are done by the book. And seeing how this round might play out, Liquid are going to have to take something from the book if they want to get this one over the finish line and send us through into Coastline. 5-3 then, attacking up onto this top floor. That timeout's come through, and nothing has really changed for the side of MIBR, at least in their operator lineup. But the difference maker, I think, Tim, will be in how they opt to play out this round. Palu, this time round, not getting shot from Attic.
I mean, it's a little thing, Des. You know, it's a little thing, but it's much better, isn't it? You know, we'll go up the ladder before we open up the hole into Attic. It's those little mistakes that Liquid need to iron out here, because it's those that are going to cost them.
What he's looking for there, I imagine, is the line of sight down into Attic whilst on the beam inside of Attic itself. So you can, sorry, not in Attic, sorry. Inside Big Tower, on from the beam, you can then see down through into Attic and give you a nice little line of sight. Here, more specifically, it looks like he's focused on watching the green or the green flank, optionally. He could look to drop down. Out the window he goes, and we'll see where he tries to move to next.
Going to keep a little eye on the window into Kid Storms there. Just open it up and make the defenders inside feel a little bit of pressure. We've got plenty of presence over on the Armory side as Liquid look to get themselves established inside a Master. Obviously need to deal with Trophy in order to do that. The wall is open, so MIBR are going to be keen to hold on to this as strongly as they can. It's an interesting tactic that we're starting to see a lot more recently, is having that side of the wall opened up so that you're able to sort of aggress out of it. But Philippox is on his way here, and if he can move up Armory Stairs, he could really play spoiler. Out goes the Nitro underneath, not going to catch Ask. He does take a little bit of damage, but not everything that they might have wanted. Reed up to has a second bite at the cherry and finds his man.
All right, Philippox has managed to get past PSK there, who was holding inside of Armory, looking for the second challenge, but he gets swung by the second. 2 big kills coming out for MIBR. Palu trying to start the comeback, but shut down by Philippox. Resets. The only one left alive in the round can do nothing, and MIBR showing the power of the timeout there with 4 members left alive come the end.
Right, MIBR, they managed to game on indeed. They lock down their second choice site. They now don't have to necessarily play that third choice immediately. I think they're going to go down to Laundry to begin with because that's now available. They will then have, if they win down there at 5-all, to go to that third choice site. So there's now a lot of weight on that third choice site for MIBR because it could be the difference maker here. If they get that win and can go back to dorms, it could all be over.
I get that magic word in my mind, Tim. I just feel like overtime is going to be what creeps towards us here. If they can get the 2-1 score across the next 3 sites, that's where we'll go. A little stumble on the second floor there, one they'll be happy to have done without, but you'll take it. I love, by the way, how aggressive they were on the roam, committing 2 to go for a massive flank. Really, PSK was in a spot to get the shutdown there because he was watching it. They had the air jabs down from the Nomad. All sorts going in their favour, but just couldn't stop Philippox getting by them and then taking a swing from either side of the door. You can't do it all, unfortunately. Down to the basement we go. MIBR setting up with that mirror. The Goyo really going for a dug-in defence here, Tim.
They are indeed. As you say, I think last time around we saw MIBR roaming out in the map. I look and I don't see too many operators that are going to be doing that. But then again, we commented on that last time, Des, that it looked for all the operators that were there like it was going to be an on-site lineup. But they were still able to hold on for almost 2 minutes out in the map. I'm interested to see if MIBR double down on that and go for the same technique again because it did them a lot of favours and it left Liquid very short of time. We've got Philippox up in kitchen, Lukid up near the showers corridor. They are indeed going to play out in the map. Liquid have to do a better job of clearing them out.
We saw Mute and Mozzie last time as well as the go-to roaming setup coming out of MIBR, and despite being successful there, they've opted to change that this time. Not trying to deny away the drone work, but instead just looking to get out in the map and cause a little bit of trouble. I can't imagine they'll stay out in the map too long, to be honest with you, though. Like, this looks more to me like a challenge of we'll sit halfway upstairs, we'll take out a couple of drones, we'll fall back to site, and that is enough for us. In fact, that's exactly what they've gone for. Clearly not quite feeling confident enough to chance it in this round out on the roam.
Still not inside of the map yet, apart from Resets, who's got himself in towards rear stage, but barely inside of the door. That's a minute gone, and Liquid need to be aware, I'm going to keep repeating it, aware of the clock. Just conscious of a potential rotate from Attic, just sealing off any angles that could be used against them to try and get in behind them on a rear stage push. So I think we're going to see all sort of bunker and rear stage sided. This time Liquid, rather than playing into the map and trying to clear those roamers and wasting 2 minutes, they're just cutting them off. They brought the Nomad along. We'll just cut you off. You can't come and aggress onto us. We'll hold the flanks, and that way we can just focus directly onto site. Not a bad idea necessarily.
No, and the one thing I did think that was missing from MIBR's attacks on this site, without the Hibana, you can't open up the Shaiko spot. So you can't force, in this case, Lukid playing on the Jaeger out from this spot unless you get some really good nades chucked through, which are being burnt out slowly by the ADSs here. These next ones might just swing through and do the damage. They've got one coming down into elbow, which might force Falls to step out and go for the reinforce here, but I think he's not wanting to chance it. He needs to get the reinforce off, but I think the moment he steps across, he's thinking someone's going to come and swing him, so doesn't want to commit to the reinforce.
Philippox still active on that mid-floor. PSK aware now that the rotation has been opened up, so that might just circumvent some of those Nomad air jabs. Resets trying to win the fight onto pillars there, just missing his man, finds him on the second attempt. Lukid with a big double, a triple, huge play coming in from MIBR. Des managing to lock down 3 of Liquid, 4v2. Ask is looking to push, taking damage, finds Lukid. Essential kill for Team Liquid there. 38 seconds left to go, but Ask, he's super low health. PSK, he needs to do something here. He's 1v3 as Raps finds the Hibana, shuts her down, and that is now all on this man's shoulders. PSK, he's moving through sight. He wants to spot one of these early, maybe make it a 1v2. The challenge is going to come onto his flank. He's getting it from every direction, and it's Philippox who finds his man, and that's going to be MIBR levelling things up 5-5. And they've got an opportunity here, Des. They can smell it. They know there's blood in the water, and they are circling.
This is the round, Tim, that you said earlier on that they need to win, though. This offsite is where everything spins on a dime. They win here, they can go back up to the second floor. Yes, they've lost there once, but they very much so course-corrected in round 9. So I'll be confident they can win the second floor. This is the one where things get a little bit dicey. And like you say, Luke in an absolutely huge play. When you've got that, I'm not saying this is like the go-to answer to it, but when you've got Ask on side playing the Havana, open up Shoko from inside a meeting. You might find you get a bit of a challenge, but that's where nades come in to force players away from being able to shoot out the pellets. Instead, he can just plant his feet in Shiko's spot, swivel on a dime, and find himself a massive 3K that essentially shuts Liquid out of the round. 5-5 then. Meeting and Kitchen we head to.
Could be an absolute make or break round for Team Liquid here, because the thing is, if they don't win this one now, they've got a much bigger challenge in the next round, and they don't want to be facing Map Point. At least if they have to go back to one of those primary, secondary sites facing up to overtime, you've got that cushion, you've got that breathing space. But if they fail here, and oh boy, they're going to be kicking themselves. It's going to be Meeting and Kitchen. There's going to be a top floor hold coming in from MIBR. I'm not sure what Liquid play here. Do they go for the full top floor clearance, or do they just look to open up that rear wall and try and sneak a plant onto the stage? We'll see as the time ticks by. We're heading to the action phase. And Team Liquid, it feels a little bit like your moment. It's now or never.
I feel if you've got the Nomad on side here, you probably want a full map clear. Liquid have been stung on the flank a couple of times by the defenders. So let's just remove that possibility now. Get control of the top floor, force them away, open up angles, and look for a very secure plant. By the looks of it, they are starting a couple out towards the south side. PSK being the flank watch in this half for them is set out towards lobby. Resets, and one more out towards the west. It's Nesk and Palu up towards Big Tower. So this kind of 3-point push coming in from the side of Liquid to get themselves set up in the round, but they've got to get rid of these players on the top floor. You got Raps, you got Reduct, Philippok sat down below with a C4 in hand as well. Lots that can work against them if they're not careful.
PSK going to head in towards Shower's corridor along with Nesk, I think. PSK actually drops away, gets back on the drone. Nesk, drone in, sending the Gemini clone in. It just feels there's no aggression out of Liquid. Like I say, sending a drone in, sending another drone in. You know, they're never really pushing across and looking to take those early challenges. By contrast, we quite often saw MIBR inside of the map, inside 20, 30 seconds, just looking to have a drone at their feet, playing really, really aggressively. Reduct tries for the Nitro, not going to find anybody with that one. 5v5 still as we reach towards the halfway mark, and I'd say that suits MIBR down to the ground.
Yep, you've got Ness trying to push his way up white here as well. Resets on the double window. They want to sweep across because they got rid of the mute jammer on the trophy door. They can get the drones in here and figure out where Reduct is, where Raps is, where Philippox is, now that he's moved his way upstairs as well. You got this little triangle playing with Palu. He wins the entry. Of course he does, because he is Palu. Steps up to 13 kills in this game. And with one removed off the board, it's not a bad thing to have on side at all. But now you've got to try and find a way to get rid of the next two. It's all about the time, though, because think of how many times we have seen Liquid falling short because of the clock. There's still a lot of work for them to do here, as MIBR have still got loads to play with.
That is big from Reduct, but he runs full face into PSK. No idea that he's there. And as we have a shakedown in the mid-round, it's 3v3, falls on low health. And now Team Liquid have got control of... No, they don't have control of the top floor. There is still Raps up there, and he's still going to cling on to this with his 10 HP and try to keep them at bay. He must be able to hear someone outside. There goes the nade. There comes the kill. Beautiful from Liquid. And you start thinking that this should be their round. They're going to lock off the top floor so they know that they're not going to get flanked. 30 seconds left to go, and it's time to start thinking about that diffuser. PSK has it in hand, and they might just need to make sure that they get it planted, because MIBR, they've locked themselves into sight now. There's 20 seconds left to go, and they are not going to budge from here. They're just trying to hold the angles. They're going to force Liquid to come on in. 15 seconds. Resets. He's pushing that dining door. He can't find anybody in his sights. He's pushing through. MIBR have had to dip away from kitchen site. They've given it up a little bit there. PSK able to start putting the diffuser down.
Blue Kid on a big flank here. Oh, Resets wins it out the 1 versus 1 and gets the next as well. It's a trade, but Liquid find the round. 6-5, Tim. It's feeling dicey at the very least. We are guaranteed overtime, but Liquid, you just know, would love to wrap this up 7-5 here and now.
That was so close for MIBR. You really did think at 3v3 there was a point in that round where they could maybe do it and they could hold on to that third choice site, but Team Liquid in the nick of time able to find those final kills and take themselves on to map point. They are scrapping hard to get a third map out of this, but at the minute, Des, unless Liquid's performance changes, Paolu's been very good. I won't take that away. But overall, it still feels like MIBR are the better team here at the minute.
I've said it a couple of times throughout the series already. Paolu's definitely stepping up, and I don't want to keep on piling pressure on one guy, but Nesk is still sat on 3 kills. He hasn't got. We looked at him earlier on. He was 3 and 6. He hasn't found a single kill across those 3 rounds, Tim. It's been a really unfortunate game for someone playing the entry. You're playing on that Iana. You got the nades in back pocket. You got the ARX. You should be finding some winning kills, but despite all that, they have managed to fight their way through to a point in where they've got 1 round until they take the second map. It is their map pick. Coastline going into it. I'm definitely favouring MIBR, but it's not all over and done yet for Liquid.
Not at all. There is still another round to be played. They've already won this one, if we remember, back in round 8. So there is every possibility that they will be able to find another round here and just take themselves straight into that third map of Coastline. But MIBR, they're going to be looking to cling on. They don't want to go to Coastline. They don't want to roll the dice on what can be one of the most unpredictable maps sometimes that we see, especially against 2 teams like this. But at the minute, I'd have to give an edge to MIBR on Coastline, simply because they're winning more of the gunfights. Paolu, the exception, has done well. Resets has had a good game as well, but it's been tough for Liquid overall.
You want to be careful that Paolu doesn't go into Coastline and drop like 25 kills.
That's
It's ludicrous.
That's the thing. That's what MIBR don't want to find out.
No, absolutely do not want to give him that opportunity. Let's see how the round plays out then. We are into the action phase, about 40 seconds in fact. Wow, things are flying by very quickly here today. I'm looking towards the side of MIBR here and just thinking again, you've got a couple out on the roam. You've got C4s in back pocket, you've got the mute playing inside the kitchen, you've got Felipox on the downstairs. It's Raps at the first time of asking to find Ask. Down goes the Hibana, and that's going to be the hard breach taken away. Far from the end of the world, because you've still got the Maverick on side. Of course, you retain the nades. Just means they might have a bit more bother burning through those ADSs.
MIBR just bringing back the aggression there. They've been a little bit muted last couple of rounds. Team Liquid getting a few on the board, and it's not been as easy for MIBR, but that was sort of the start that you felt they needed. If they want to guarantee themselves this round and push it into overtime, they needed a good opener, and that's exactly what they find. Taking Ask down, and Nesk, he's now trying to push in towards security. He wants to clear the man out inside of there, but he's maybe going to need a little bit of support in here to do that.
Sure. It's the time. It's always the time with Liquid that stresses me out. Because already we're down.
Aggressive.
No, but I mean, it's more indecisive, I think, is the way to look at it. Because the thing is, look, they've still got all 10 drones alive. They've got the information. They aren't blind going in here. They've collected what they need to. It's just the urgency, like I said, back in map 1, just feels like it's missing in some rounds, and this is another one of them. Yes, you've lost your 1 man, but you've still got to keep things going here. Don't leave it down to the last 10 seconds again.
Nades just being rained into sight. First one taken down by an ADS. Second one will go in and explode, do no damage. And that allows MIBR to continue keeping hold of the Kid Storms. But Paolu manages to get himself a kill onto Felipox. Is this the catalyst then for Team Liquid? Nesk is still well aware of the player inside of security. I think he's going to send a decoy in there just to try and make sure that that's the case. In it comes, going to spot out Lukid, so he knows 100% that there is somebody in there that now needs challenging. Lukid's going to hold the angle onto the White Stairs corridor there, conscious that there could be one on either side of him, and that's exactly what's happening as Paolu is going to move in and try and support this pinch. I like it, Des, but there's only 20 seconds left. What are Team Liquid going to do about the site? They can't just keep focusing on Lukid underneath. 4v4, we need the others. Resets, PSK, we need them pushing, aggressing into site in a position to get a diffuser down. 3v3, 3v2 as MIBR found kills, and surely it's over for Team Liquid here as MIBR get the round.
Let's really get ourselves ready for it. We've got a game plan. We know what we've got to do here. We're going to change these 1 or 2 things in the round in terms of how we play it. What I liked last time was they kind of did the bait and switch, let's not forget, right? They were moving Resets and Ask between positions. They started out with Ask out towards blue, and then rotated him across to Freezer when they realized that there was a south side push coming in. So to me, there is every opportunity to do the same thing again, keep MIBR guessing, split the team in half, and divide and conquer.
And here we go. 6-6 into overtime. Team Liquid will be first on the defence down in Laundry. MIBR therefore on the attack. Liquid, let's see if they do anything differently in terms of the map. I've said repeatedly that they were on a turtle defence down on this site, and it sometimes gave MIBR just a little bit too much time, where MIBR showed the power of that mid-floor roam, sometimes burning away 2 minutes when defending down here, and Liquid running out of time. So we'll see if they switch anything up or not. It doesn't look like they are at the minute.
Well, one change, critical one they've made, is bringing along the Hibana in place of the Capitale. Remember, they weren't bringing along hard breaches before. They were leaning instead into saying hard breach gadgets on the Capitale, plenty fine for us. It did help them shut down a couple of smoke bolts and fire bolts inside a pillar last time round, which forced the members of Liquid back. Here, they're saying, you know what, all 3 hatches being open sounds good. Maybe they want to open up Shaiko spot again. That'll be what we'll look towards here and see if they can achieve that.
Polypox opening up the top tier there, showing us that MIBR are taking no chances. They want to make sure that there's nobody hidden away that's going to cause them a problem. Reduct has already got himself established down inside a bunker, and as I've said a few times about MIBR, this is them getting in there quickly into positions they want to be in. Team Liquid take much longer to get into those positions. Even if it's just like that, pushing into bunker, it seems to take them a lot longer. 45 seconds in, MIBR are in the map. They're ready to open hatches.
Weird, that. It's almost like we said about them being one of those more rapid teams that we've seen at the competition. Furia, another that spring to mind. Fantasy often halfway inside the building after 45 seconds. MIBR channeling some of that energy. Liquid kind of going the way of NIP, arguably, and slowing down a little bit too much. So with that control that they've established here, they can start to look to get these hatches opened up. Still a little bit slow on that front, as Falls was doing a lot of drone work for the team. But now he can very quickly run from point to point to point, getting these hatches opened up. Start getting MIBR thinking about and execute. If they win this attack in sight, Tim, I'm very nervous for Liquid.
I would agree with you. I think it's going to be a hell of a challenge for Liquid to come back from that. But we've still got 1 minute 30. We've still got 1 minute 30, Des, and we can make a real game of this. MIBR starting to look at clearing that final utility now, heading the Rotero drone in towards Elbow, trying to give themselves an opportunity, but Ask, he is there, he's alert, he's alive, he takes it down, the shield is still available to him. 1 minute 10 left to go here, pinging out utility as they try to find a crack in this defence, but as of yet, MIBR have not been able to do so.
The thing is, Tim, you see this all these times on these attacks. Your idea is to try and kind of box them into highway and into supply, and so far they've got 4 members penned in. PSK, the only one escaping the net so far, still sat in the Shaiko spot. They haven't got the wall opened up at the top of E-Box to expose that spot and force them to step away. It's far from the end of the world, but we already saw what MIBR did when a Jaeger was left unchecked in that position. So no doubt here, MIBR are looking to unseat him first, then start their push through.
That's the problem though, Des. They haven't unseated him. They haven't unseated anybody from Liquid here. There's zero disruption from this MIBR side so far. It's all going to come down to this. Filippo finds one, wraps another. How's that for disruption for you? That's 2 kills. That's 3. 5v2, and it's falling apart. Liquid are now 1v5. Shut down. Flawless round. MIBR, and what an attack. The team goes wild, and they know that they are 1 step away, Des. Just 1 round, 1 successful defence from going to the next step in the lower bracket.
And they're on the defence as well, Tim. What have we said all map long? Liquid have looked slow. They've got to attack into something really difficult to crack here on the side of MIBR. They're not looking to lean into, at least by the looks of it, the Mute and Mozzie comp that was so effective the first time they defended this site. They're going for the much more dug-in approach here. In fact, that's a lie. They've changed out last second, Tim. They have gone towards it. So the roam game is on, the time-wasting game is on, and this is, again, just to remind you, where Liquid were stuck in a 5 versus 5 with 10 seconds on the clock. It was not pretty. They've identified that themselves here. 6 picking in a Ying is something a little bit wild for you, and the Mirror's coming back in for the Mozzie. Just too easy, really, wasn't it?
Right, Team Liquid, it was. That's exactly... I said literally seconds before, they've not been able to disrupt this defence. Nobody's been moved. And it just didn't matter because they'd just postured and positioned themselves in such a way that they were ready to just take those kills. All coordinate. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful from MIBR. Team Liquid, your backs are to the wall. We keep talking about you as this team that should have won this competition at some point. But if you can't win these games, sooner or later that argument has to stop.
You know what though, Tim? We're from the UK. And we in the UK Love an underdog.
Love an underdog.
We absolutely adore an underdog, and that is what we've got here. You know, everyone at home, 84% of people lent towards Liquid coming away with this. MIBR are 1 round away from 2-0ing Liquid, and then they become one of those final few select teams that have got a chance to go on and win it all. That'll be a top 4 team. That's the scariest part.
Like you say, I love that story that it's, just been out of nowhere almost. And, after the year that MIBR have had as well, they would never have dreamt of finding themselves in this position. And now they're 1 round away, Des. They're 1 round away from continuing forward. They're 1 round away from knocking out another huge team. They have got an unbelievable list of names. NIP, SSG, Team Liquid will all be victims of MIBR if they continue.
Absolutely crazy. Out with the old, in with the new. They'll be chanting all the way to the bank if this goes any further. I think as it stands, it should be, and these last 2 minutes is going to be the big decider. On Liquid side, they're bringing along Hibana as well as the Hard Breach gadget coming out from PSK. Whether out of a bit of fear there and just saying, well, we need an extra set of Hard Breaches just in case we do lose one of them, I don't know. Because we've seen MIBR getting out on the roam and being problematic. So it's kind of a safety pick from them. Either way, all are still left alive. We've still got 90 seconds of the round to play with Tim, and you know what? This is good pace for once. They've done what MIBR have done. Halfway in the round, they've got their hatches opened up. Nothing too much to worry about. Although, Reduct is on Zulu. They've had this jammed off inside of security the whole time, and he's just sat here freely at the minute.
Not a major problem, as there is an air jab, I know, on the door from Green Corridor to Kitchen, so that will keep him at bay, but it depends if he tries to move through meeting. I don't know if Nesk has air jabbed that side off or not. We will see as the round progresses, I am sure. Liquid going to push in here behind the Ying. The utilities going in. The pre-fires from PSK. Falls gets 1.
Oh, the second.
This could be the beginning of the end for Team Liquid. 5 versus 3, but they fight back, and they fight back hard. Liquid pack a punch when they need it. Parlu resets, find 1 apiece, 3v3, 45 seconds left to go, and looking for more. Nesk, he's trying to get in on the action. They need something from him. They need it now. Parlu gets another. I think this one might just continue, Des. They don't have the diffuser in hand right now. That's something to just note. 35 seconds left to go, and Liquid looking for kills. Resets has picked it up.
Here we go. They try and step their way through, and Resets in for the reverse plant here, getting his backside in. Reduct has got the long angle, but can't quite see the man. C4 comes out. It's too shallow, but they step out and cancel anyway, Tim. They're going to back in once again, just about denying the angle, and Reduct has got to swing for this one, but Parlu was watching the angle. They're going for the flank. They find one. Can they get the stop? No, the diffuser's down. Reduct has found it. They've got him out of this one. Resets is down. MIBR get the disable. They take the 2-0, and Team Liquid's dream run ends here on Oregon.
You just get the feeling, Des, that no matter how long Team Liquid had played for today, it just didn't look like they were going to win that game. Even in the final round there, they had